Alrighty. And we are live. Good afternoon, everybody. So we have a full chat already. So thank you everybody for being here. We had a request from Tarot Destiny. She goes, it's so much easier. She says, just call me TD. So everybody, when we're talking, chatting, that's TD. Welcome, my dear. Thank you. Nancy is here. Ramon is here. Hello, Ramon. Good to see you. Jay. Yeah, it's early in your time, Jay. Jay's over on the West Coast, so thanks for popping in. Oh, hey, Jackie, you were in my dream last night, and so was Sophie. Oh,
weird.
Really? Yeah, I had some weird dreams, but I can't remember any of them. Hello, Floating. I'm listening while under the covers. Oh, getting over a nasty cold. Oh, feel better, Flowing.
Hot toddy.
Yeah, there you go.
Hot toddy.
Yeah.
Big fan.
So this week, Allyson is joining us. So make sure to go check out her channel and subscribe if you haven't. She started a couple
Thank you, Heather and Jackie, for having me.
Oh,
Thanks
you're
for coming
welcome.
on.
When I let Jackie know that you were joining us, Jackie's like, "Oh, she's fab."
Oh, thank you. I like you too.
Good.
It's good when the readers like each other, isn't it?
It helps. It helps.
It is helpful.
Yeah. It doesn't make it so awkward. And
Yes.
just a few things again in the beginning. Just want to address a couple of things really quick. For anybody watching playback, we do talk a little bit in the beginning of each show. We're polite. We say hello to our guests. We say hello to our fellow readers. We share information about the case, and then we'll go ahead and then we'll start pulling cards. Jackie and I have been receiving some unpleasant comments, not from you guys in chat, but people who watch on playback. This is how we do our show, and there are other shows who do card pulls and readings on cases. So if you like somebody who just jumps right in, just starts pulling cards, then go right for those channels. This is not your channel. Also, watching playback, no disrespectful comments. We've also been getting some of those as well. That will not be tolerated. So anybody starting to watch on replay, this is how we work. We greet our guests, we greet our chatters, we talk about the victim, we share the story and the knowledge that we have, and then we pull cards. That's our MO, so to speak, on this show. And these are for educational and entertainment purposes only. Mm-hmm. We are looking at these cases as you would a police investigation. We've had a couple of comments saying that, we attack husbands and wives and this and that, and it's not us attacking. Like we always state, these are just us pulling cards, trying to figure out who's involved. Everybody is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. We do not.
And you always say that.
And yes, we do. And that's why sometimes I still like to reiterate that, people are guilty, again, unless proven innocent. Well, yeah, I just said that. So moving forward, we don't take any money from this. We don't make any money off of these. Family, police, or friends typically don't reach out, though we have been reached out by a couple of people because of past shows that we will be doing in the future, but that stays private. We honor and respect that privacy for those who do reach out to us. And I think that's pretty much everything. You got anything else, Jackie, you want to add to that before we get started?
Just that if anyone has any thoughts or card pulls or ideas or anything while we're doing the reading, please don't put it up while we're reading, because I have a habit of just glancing over at the chat all the time to make sure I don't miss anything important or anyone new coming in, and it's quite distracting if there's stuff being put up. So what we'll do is try and keep it to the hour and then do maybe 15 minutes or whatever time we have at the end to get everyone to put up what feelings they're getting, Mm-hmm. If you want to just write them down even as you go along so you don't forget by the time we get to the end of the show, But it can be distracting when we're trying to read the cards and kind of comments are catching our eye as well, you know. So that's all I'd say.
And we
Thanks,
don't want to
guys.
be influenced too.
Yeah.
So, alrighty. Because this case was brought to us by Jackie, this is in her hometown area, I am just going to go ahead and I am going to put Jackie a little bit in the hot seat so she can tell us about the case. And again, Jackie, I have notes here, so if you need a date or something or whatever, hopefully I'll have that here for you.
I have pages of notes as well, and there's absolutely no time to go through what I've written down. But I know anyway, Allyson prefers to go in as cold as possible, so I'm going to give the extreme basics. So we're reading on Sophie Toscan de Plentier. She was a 39-year-old French woman who, she was a writer, and she was married to a 54-year-old film and TV producer. Daniel was his name. And she was always in the spotlight with him, which she didn't like. She was more of a private person. So in 1993, she bought a holiday home in Schull in County Cork, and it was right on the Atlantic coast, where she would come every time she needed time out and spend a couple of weeks there or whatever, just to get away. But Schull is known for, there's not many Irish people there. It's full of Dutch, Germans, French and English. I learned today. So she bought the house there in 93, and she went over on December the 20th in 1996. So she only had the house less than 3 years. She went over December 20th. She was seen coming into Cork Airport. She was on film and the whole lot. And on the night of the 22nd of December, so 2 days later, she was walking past what's called, I believe, three sheep's head or something weird like that. And there's the ruin of a castle. And she saw the spirit of what's known as the White Lady. She was a woman belonging to the castle back in the day. And she ran to her friend's house terrified after she'd seen this ghost. But her friend wasn't Irish, and she didn't know the story and the superstitions of seeing the White Lady. And apparently, if it had been an Irish person she had told the story to, that they would have not left her go home on her own, because if you'd seen the White Lady, there was this superstition that you were going to come upon certain death, kind of a thing, within a certain time frame or whatever, right?
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
So because her friend Yvonne, I think was her name, wasn't Irish, she left her go home, and she spoke to her husband around midnight, and she was found dead at 10 o'clock the next morning at the end of the big long walkway up to her house. It was on the edge of a hill on the coast. Only one other house within a short walking distance up kind of the back of her place, but there was only one other house other than that in the area. It was miles away from anywhere. The cops took a long time to get there because they had to be escorted there. They would have never found it by themselves, they said. So they were escorted down there, but she was found at 10 a.m. The cops didn't get there from Dublin till 10 p.m. that night. So that was already 12 hours, but that would have been possibly up to 22 hours after she was murdered. Yep. Because it was between midnight and 10 that she died, and they got there 10 that night. Right. So anywhere from 10 to 22 hours. So lying out, the weather was atrocious. She was lying out in the wind and the rain and the whatever, on the 23rd of December, and there was nothing really left. I mean, they did identify her blood on the concrete block that was used to murder her, but other than that, they had nothing. Obviously, being 96, there wouldn't have been anything in the line of DNA testing and stuff anyway, you know, but it was a whole 28 hours, I think, later again before the state pathologist got down to check out the scene. So there was really nothing kind of to go by, only what people were saying and who people reckoned they saw and all this kind of stuff. So I'm not going to go into any more crazy details about her because I have loads written down, but they did, as you probably know, kind of, they had initially 50 suspects, which they whittled down to 10, which they brought down to 1, which was Ian Bailey. Ian Bailey was a horrible, disgusting human being. He was a reporter from Manchester who had, again, only moved over there not long before that as well. He loved Ireland and loved the kind of quietness and that there, but he was given a studio, belonged to Jules, who was another reporter, artist type person, and they ended up getting into a relationship, but he did nearly kill her on 3 occasions. He was an absolute mental case. He was really suffering after a marriage breakdown that he had before that, and went mad on the drink and whatnot. But he was a big time exhibitionist too. He wanted attention all the time. So he was the first person on the scene with the guards when they announced that there was a body found, and he seemed to know all the details. And like he did, when very drunk, tell random people for no reason at all that he did do it. But I have to say I don't believe he did do it, and I have my own suspicions as to who did. But I'm not going to go into that. We'll leave it there and we'll start going through cards. And I'll tell you bits here and there.
Okay, thank you, Jackie.
Can I say one thing?
Sure.
Go.
Let me put you on the
Just
big
so
screen.
y'all know, I was compelled to get some info on this one for
Cool.
whatever reason. So
Yeah.
I'm not completely, so just wanted to mention that.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So I'm not going in
Alright.
completely cold. And you know why? I kind of sort of remember this, even though it was because it was all over the news.
It would have been.
It was
I don't remember it.
yeah, but I'm not saying like it was like, headline news here because it was out of a country, but it was a really big deal because of who her husband was. And I just know I kind of it rung a bell is what it was. And then when I went and I watched a couple like little clips that I found, and in her picture, I remembered her picture slightly, whatever. So, and it's very, 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 very interesting. And after watching a little bit of it, it was the whole thing with Ian that had me go, oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Because he's I'll save what I think and feel and whatever, but very, 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 very interesting character.
Yeah.
Yeah, to say the least. I mean,
Absolutely.
he almost pummeled his girlfriend to death a couple times. So
Yeah.
a real charmer, that one.
Well,
Yeah.
he's mentally ill. He's mentally ill.
Well, he
Well, he
actually
was.
passed in January of this year on the 21st,
I know,
which
but he's
prompted
crazy.
Jackie.
He's narcissist. Yeah.
There's the narcissist card, Jackie, that I got. But I
Yeah.
And I don't use that word. That's probably the only time you've ever heard me use that word because I don't use it lightly at all. But I think he's full blown narcissist.
Oh, he was.
And Cracker Jacks too, both.
Yeah. Cracker Jacks. Sometimes that happens, Allyson. Thanks for letting us know.
Very, very, very smart.
Yeah.
Super smart.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Incredibly.
So if I could share
smart.
a few cards that I pulled prior, and I was sharing this because we know about the case. I mean, the poor woman was, because according to this area, they never have murders in this area. People are just very kind to each other. They're quiet. They keep to themselves.
Nothing.
It's artistic. And so the people, when this happened, they had no idea what to do. And they were absolutely, I mean, even the gate to her, on the road to her place, it was misplaced. They lost it. And it had, blood on it. I mean, it was just
they didn't
mind
know where to
blowing.
put it.
But the first card that I got right out asking for about this case was, there you go, contamination of the DNA evidence. Because by the time they got to her, it was almost 24 hours. They left her, that poor woman, lying out there for 24 hours. And so I asked a couple more, and I got 2. I didn't realize there were 2 cards in this deck that were pretty much the same. And one says, killer had an argument or disagreement with the victim. An argument or fight is a strong factor. And as I was, we're trying to kind of hold back information, just before Sophie was murdered, she was actually on vacation in Ireland, I think at that point, to kind of get away from the husband in the limelight. Both of them were not happy in this marriage. And this is fact. You can go on and find it in the documentary, and it's all fact that I think this might have been his 3rd wife. He liked the young ladies on his arm, and she was smitten or whatever. And so because of him being a filmmaker and her wanting to be a filmmaker, you know, they got together. And so it was interesting that we had found out that there were, I think, possibly plans for Sophie wanting to have a divorce. And that's why she probably went by herself to get away from all this, to think things through, you know. And then I found that interesting. And then I was like, well, okay, so tell me more about who the killer is. And is now she already met Ian. I'll put that out there. She had met Ian Bailey just briefly, but she knew who he was. She had an idea of who this guy was in town. But the next card that I got was victim didn't know the killer. So for me, I'm like, oh, this is interesting. So I asked for another card. I shuffled jealousy and an affair and a love related crime. And what Jackie filled me on prior to coming on was that prior to Sophie's death, and this is again, this is verifiable. She the husband had taken $1 million life policy out on her, and there had been talk of divorce, and people knew on both sides that they were both unhappy. He was always having extramarital affairs, and she would have a few here and there, you know, because it was basically a loveless marriage. And so that card caught my attention. And of course, you know, killer profile indicates a narcissist or a sociopath. And yes, that could describe Bailey, but for me also, that could be the husband, because, you know, he, you know, kept taking on these young wives and then divorcing them, and kind of like they said that he kind of treated his wives like trophies. That was, you know, his kind of like his thing. And my last card I'll share is important details are not being revealed to the public. So Jackie was sharing with me that there is a possibility of another person who committed the murder. And the other card that I got is social media will provide valuable clues at some point. So this may come out. And I know Jackie wanted to keep things still a little cold, but I just wanted to share my cards and the insights from that deck. Because that deck for me kind of like lays the foundation for me. It's kind of where to start focusing some of my questions and my cards. So did one of you ladies want to share anything?
I just wanted to comment on a couple things that I came across that were slightly different. And that's another reason I don't like to get information ahead of time. But also just keep in mind that not everything is always, you know, I mean, I only watched good sources, but I had here that she was on her third marriage, that was. I know it's at least the second, but it was the third. They were both having an affair.
Yeah.
She ended hers right before this trip to Skull, and he had asked her for a divorce. And she was upset about it. They'd only been married 5 years. It's not like this was a long marriage. I mean, they hadn't even been married that long. So, anyways, I just wanted to comment on that.
Yes, I forgot about that. Thank you for bringing that up.
And also, I just wanted to mention, I'm sure it or may not come up, but that she has, and this kind of touched me because I get it. She had one son from her first marriage. He was 16 at the time of her death, and they were very, very close. I think it was interesting that she went without him because she was going to be there for Christmas. So I can only assume,
his father, you see.
Right. What I watched just said that she was going to be there for the. I can only assume that her son was going to be with his real father. So, her son, Pierre Louis. Yeah.
Daniel. No. But yeah, he still owns that house. He won't sell it.
He does.
There to be close to his mother.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said he could feel her energy there.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
Or he feels closest to her when he's there is probably a more accurate way to put it. So,
yeah.
But anyway, before we get started, I'm so intrigued that Jackie thinks that it's somebody else. And based on what Heather just said, I can only assume the husband. I didn't know about the life insurance policy. I mean, and I don't know if that's what you think or not. Maybe I should just shush up. But I did not. Again, I only just looked a little bit. I didn't know there was an insurance policy. So, but of course there is. They have money. But I didn't know that it would have just been taken out not too long before this happened.
This has to come out soon. What happened? Like, it has to, because they know where the guy is. Like, so I don't know what's the big hold up. I don't know. But anyway.
Because Jackie says they have an idea of who the person was that the husband allegedly may have hired to do this. And I think that's the one person that's still alive. Yeah, of the whole thing.
Yeah.
One other thing I did want to comment on, and I don't think I heard everything you said. Yes, it's frustrating as hell that it took so long for the police to get there and everything, because it is such a cute, oh my God, adorable place to live, ridiculous. But it was very, very secluded. And in the winter, when especially if you don't know how to get in there, you can't just zip up there. You don't just get directions and go. Apparently, it's like little go path like stuff to get in there and where to turn, and you can miss a turn and this next. It's very secluded.
Okay, Isadora, we're going to hold off with questions and comments until after we're done pulling cards, and then we'll open the floor. So
can you start the questions, Heather, just for the end? Maybe. So that we'll go back on them.
Yeah. So one of the first cards, I separated my Cork cards from one of the decks that I have, and I asked if which Cork card can best represent the person who is behind Sophie's murder. And it was interesting. I got the King of Cups, which is an older gentleman, a fatherly like figure, somebody, for me automatically it kind of almost felt like it fit.
I'm gonna look something up.
In my opinion, my perspective, in the initiative response, possibly, the husband. So I'm not saying it was, but this is what the card kind of represented and spoke to me, and how that was represented. So what question do you want us to ask first, Jackie?
Well, I did my 15 card spread, so I'm just wondering, will I go through them one at a time, or will I just ask each question, will I? And we'll all pull, or will I show my card and ye pull cards on it as well then, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Allyson might be adjusting her internet because there were certain ones that I had highlighted. But what was the first question? Because I think I separated some of mine from the one that you sent, because for me, the space for 15, it was just overwhelming for me personally to have cards. So what would you like?
I'm just looking up some info on the husband.
All right. No bother. The first question I have is how close is the suspect to the victim?
Okay.
So the card I got, I'll just show you anyway while we're waiting, is the Four of Wands. Now the Four of Wands, there's a couple there going under it's known as the 1111 card because of the two wands on either side. And there's that what you call that thing, that fancy flowery decoration thing. It's often seen as a wedding card anyway. So.
I'm sorry, my dear. Hold.
Oh, yeah, it better. There we go. There you go. So how close is the suspect to the victim? And I pull the Four of Wands. This could be seen as a wedding card, so I would automatically get the husband from that, Now I don't think he did it himself, because he did have an alibi. He was proven to be in France when it happened. But I do believe it was someone else hired to do the job for him, kind of a thing. So do you want to go and pull on that?
Yeah. So I'm keeping my King of Cups to the side, because that's what. Here, let me just.
Put yourself up.
Initially got the King of Cups, and the King of Cups is a fatherly older gentleman figure. And so I wanted to pull, because I don't do reversals, so I just wanted to get energy on that. And I got the Eight of Swords. So for me, it felt like in this, whoever was responsible, she felt restricted, a victim mentality, insecure, isolated. I mean, this was an unhappy. So she obviously knew who this person was, and had some sort of connection. And when I looked at the bottom of the deck, I got the King of Pentacles, and this is somebody with money, finances, you know, well-to-do, well-known. So again, for me, it feels like so far between, you know, the two, it's kind of looking like at the husband. However, I will go out and say, and again, this is for entertainment purposes for anybody that comes in, like Broken Doll, welcome. This is all just us looking at cards. This is just us speculating, and for entertainment purposes only. And so we're not accusing, we're just looking and interpreting the cards. So for me, the King of Pentacles also, it can't be, you know, it could also look like, say, well, that could be Ian Bailey too, because, you know, he was well known. You know, he had, you know, money. He was, but at one point he actually really didn't. So for me, I'll just backtrack. For me, I still feel like it has something to do with the closer to her, somebody that she knew.
Yeah.
Me, it's just feeling like husband for me. Oh, and I gotta bring Allyson back in.
Is she coming back?
Oh, sorry, Allyson.
It's okay. And I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm done monkeying around. I wanted to get some info on the husband. And just really quick, you're reading on how did she know him, or what was the question? I'm sorry.
The question was, how close is the suspect to the victim?
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to shuffle. Unless, Jack, you have your... Oh, so you're not going to be playing cards. It'll just be me and Allyson catching up with you. Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm just going to go through them. I get the feeling that, like, you know, the way, like, he was dating a model, right? They had kind of separated and he was dating a model. And I kind of get the feeling that, like, he thought it was okay for him to be dating a model, even though they were still married. But that the fact that she was seeing someone else, maybe that wasn't what he wanted at all. Do you know what I mean? And he felt the need to do something about it. Like,
what's good for the goose is always good for the gander. As
yeah.
the saying goes.
Yeah.
So let me just see. That card didn't make sense. Okay. Yeah, Seven of Swords, deception, sneaky. You know. Oops, sorry, Allyson.
Yeah.
Just, you know.
Yeah.
I did get prior, and I put it back, and I should have kept it out. I got the Queen of Swords, and I got the Three of Cups. So I'm wondering if this Queen of Swords was either her saying, okay, I see what's going on. I mean, they're filmmakers, so you have a vision, you have clarity, you see, you know, you see details. You can kind of like, they can like see kind of like the bigger pictures, like, especially being a filmmaker, you're very focused on details, looking in, getting close-ups so for me, that was feeling like taking a look, getting closer, look at the details. And the Three of Cups, that's a celebration. So somebody, possibly the husband, benefited that celebration, because then there's the people celebrating. That could have been also maybe the mistress as well. I'm not sure. But for me, I'm just kind of looking at that angle.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that the mistress had anything, you know, and to do with it, or, you know, and if, yeah, I'm not bringing any of them into it. But for me, it feels like the Queen of Swords was like, I see you. I know what's going on. But then with the Three of Cups, it just feels like there's a celebration. Why would there be a celebration? Because now he could maybe technically be with whoever he wants and not have to worry about a divorce and having to lose millions in a divorce. So I'm curious to see what
Allyson is.
Yeah.
Interesting. I hadn't pulled any cards on this yet. I feel like based on these cards, and again, I'll probably say a lot of different things, but just based on this, I think this is somebody that she had met. I don't think this was necessarily whoever this is. I have the Sun, the Three of Cups, the Four of Swords. In that order. The overall energy, I have the Chariot. The way I read this, I just look at it and I get what I'm going to get from this. I feel like this is somebody that she met in passing. Absolutely, from these other with the Chariot here. It was a good time. It could have been a party. She picked up on something, the energy of that person or whatever. I would say with the Four of Swords here, she did notice or feel something about it. But with the Chariot here, yeah, I already said what I think. Otherwise, I'm just repeating myself. That's what I think. So I don't feel from this but I'll throw more as we go. From that, I don't feel like it. I don't think that doesn't look like Ian. I mean, yes, I believe that they did meet, but I think that, I mean, yeah, actually it could be, but I'm feeling more like, this is somebody that she at least knew on some level, but that doesn't look like her husband. That doesn't look like, but that doesn't mean that it is, because if it was her husband, he's not the one that did it anyway, because he was wherever the hell when she was killed. But that doesn't mean he didn't have somebody else do it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
One thing actually that I just thought of, in a documentary on Netflix, a few of her family members and friends all said that for the first time ever, before she went there, she was begging them all individually to come with her. She did not want to go on her own. She all went on her own.
Oh, I just got goosebumps.
To take time out. But she was begging them all, trying to get someone to go with her. She did not want to go alone for whatever reason. So it was as if she knew there was something going down with the husband or whoever. You know, whether it was the husband or Bruno, whoever. That maybe she was expecting something, you know. So,
and then
so
Jackie,
again,
you were saying that, although I don't think she knew, but the ghost that she saw, it's known in that area when you see that ghost that it's a God, what's the word?
certain
Of what's to come.
Yeah.
But she didn't get that part of the message. But the fact that she saw the ghost alone and she was not wanting to be there, she was probably somewhat intuitive or had a feeling, or guides were screaming at her, but she didn't get the message. Interesting.
And she opened the door. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, no, she did, yeah. But the people she ran to, because they weren't Irish, they didn't know the superstition of seeing the white lady, so they weren't able to warn her that. They said if it was an Irish family she'd gone to, they would have said, no, you can't go home alone now. You're after seeing the white lady. Certain death is going to come upon you, kind of a thing. And you have to stay here with us and we'll mind you.
Wow.
But yeah, they didn't know that, so they left her go home, and that was about 10 o'clock at night. She spoke to her husband about midnight, and she was found dead at 10 a.m.
I was just going to say, if she was on the phone with her, it's so funny you said that, Jackie, because that's just what I was going to mention. So she was on the phone with her husband at midnight. She was found dead at 10 a.m. Who the hell goes to see somebody unless it's prearranged and whatever? Oh, and that's another thing. When Ian was writing, somewhere in there, because he wrote a couple things that were just kind of like out of thin air, like he knew this lady, right?
Yeah.
And he was saying about her having gentleman callers or something like that, which she didn't. And her friends, she had an affair with a man, and it had ended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was trying to,
I have a couple cards I want to share when you and Allyson are finished. So I have my deck that I do my yes and no's with. And I just wanted to pull out to see if a husband was involved. And it's interesting. I pulled 6 cards. Of all of them, only 2 were yes. The rest were all no's. And I just want to show. This is interesting. The first card was the Devil card. Oops. I don't know if you can see that. Hold on a second. I'm having issues there with my StreamYard. I got the Devil. I got all no's. And I got that 8 of Swords again. Jackie.
Wow.
I got the 5 of Cups. Loss of pleasure. Then I got the Hangman. Looking at things from a different perspective. So maybe we're looking at this we need to look at this from a different angle. I got pleasure, which was yes. So this was somebody that felt like home to her, felt, she had pleasure with. So that could be the clue to maybe this was maybe a past lover. But this is somebody, though the other card said that she didn't know who this was, but it just feels like there is some sort of nostalgia with this person. And then I got the Seven of Swords. Again, from this deck, someone stealing, walking away, getting away with something. So I just want to put that out there. I'm feeling that it's I don't think it's Ian.
And what was the question? I'm sorry.
No, I just asked my cards, my yes and no cards, if the husband was behind her murder, and I got all those no's and only 2 yeses, and then I just kind of like read the cards together to kind of see what the actual message was, what it was telling me. So,
will I go on to the next question?
Sure. Unless Allyson wants to ask something for us to pull.
Go on.
I don't.
Oh, no? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
What? No, this one I'm going to need your help with. What does the suspect do for a living? And I got the 5 of Wands. So
that sounds like Ian.
That sounds like
I'm not saying
that sounds
it's
like
Ian.
a hitman.
He's just so combative but
yeah. I mean, I get that, but I think too, like, I mean, it's Wands, it's fire, it's what you're passionate about. The husband was big into the film industry and I suppose fighting for his position within the business and all the rest of it. And I mean, that's kind of what I got from it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Take care of conflict.
Yeah.
Fixer.
So the question is, what did the killer do for a living? Okay.
What does the suspect do for a living?
The suspect.
Yeah. So that's
I'm going to ask the killer though, because the suspect would that would be Ian as the suspect.
Yeah. I get you. Yeah.
Sorry, Jackie, I forgot to put you up on the screen again.
Oh, we're grand. We're grand.
Okay.
This is a very unique case. Yes, Karen. It's oh so crazy because that was 1996. The husband went on to marry the model that he was dating when Sophie came to Ireland, and then he died in 2003 of a heart attack. And then Ian, the main suspect they always had, died only 2 months ago in January. So it's a bit all over the place, but something I watched this afternoon did say that there was a woman, Marie Farrell, who worked in a shop in Skull, and she gave all this evidence of a guy she saw on a bridge late that night when the killing happened. But in court, then she admitted that she had lied about it all because she was actually on the bridge that night with a fella who wasn't her husband. She was cheating on her husband with a fella. And she said
they were all cheating.
They were all at it. So
a
she
cheater
admitted
for you, a cheater for you, a cheater for you.
Damn.
And even in court, she would not admit who the fella she was with on the bridge that night was. And she walked out of the court and she said, no, to hell with you, kind of a thing. And she walked out of the court and it was all completely crazy. But she did eventually at some stage admit who she was with. But the point was, when she gave a proper description of the guy she saw on the bridge that night, who was drunk and falling around the place and heading towards Sophie's house, they actually followed the description and found a guy of that description who lives in Paris now and is a known associate of the husband. So I don't know if they went and did anything about that.
And I did hear about that lady and somebody.
Who?
It's just she lied about swearing that it was Ian and that it was Ian.
Oh yeah.
The shop owner?
Yeah. Marie,
Yeah, she saw
she went
somebody,
a whole lot of trouble.
but
Like,
she lied that
yeah,
it was definitely Ian and that he threatened her. That, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but she did see somebody. And
Yeah.
that's interesting. The part you just said, I didn't know that about
Well, I only
identifying
found that
who
out this
that
afternoon.
totally
Yeah.
could.
Yep.
What did your previous lover?
So it's all very crazy.
Hmm. Well, what I got, I'm still kind of jumping around here. So what did the person do for a living? I got the 9 of Pentacles. And so for me, that's somebody that's very resourceful. Somebody who has, everything they need. It's like kind of wanting, this is my garden. This is my, whether male or female, it just feels like this person was extremely resourceful. Knew where she was going to be. Then I got the 9 of Swords. Cruelty. This person was cruel that did this. But what's also interesting, a decision had to be made. And in this deck, they're at peace with it.
Wow.
They didn't regret whatsoever. Who did this? Did not regret whatsoever. So what they do for a living, somebody who's extremely resourceful, has money, has a nice place. I mean, it's that beautiful garden. And material, and on the bottom of that one, it says material gain. So who would gain from this financially?
Wow.
And so I pulled a couple cards again, like yes or no's, asking if the I kind of if and on about some of the yes or no's, but again, I'm getting whether this is or connected with the killer at least, or with the husband, because with each of those people that I'm questioning about, I'm getting the same cards. I'm getting the 7 of Swords again.
Wow.
I'm getting the 5 of Cups again. I'm getting the Devil right in the middle of all of this. And when I asked my pendulum, and yes, pendulum can be 50-50, I asked the pendulum if it was the husband involved getting someone to take care of this for him. And I got a spin for yes. So I said, okay, let me rephrase also and ask, could this have been one of Sophie's past, lovers or affairs? And I got a strong no. So still somewhere tied in with that. And I also got the 3 of Pentacles. People were working together to make this happen. And somebody got the 5 of Wands. I got the 5 of Wands too. There was strife. And so for me, this feels there was strife. And that was in the marriage.
Yeah.
Again, alleged, entertainment purposes only. This is just looking at the cards and trying to put a story together and figure out what's what. And I'm going to give it over to Allyson. I know she's still shuffling, but I'll make sure she's in the...
I'm okay. Let me just cut the deck here real quick.
They knew people.
I don't know, man. So my cards are great, but it's not telling me who. I mean, it could be either one of the people that we've been talking about. It could still yet be another person. I asked what line of work. It's descriptive for, somebody that's very much up in their head. Either one of them would have been that with both line of works that they were in. The magician, very much creative. And I got the Queen of Swords clarified by the Wheel of Fortune. So that would be, very much powerful and maybe having gone in a new direction as a result of something. I don't know that her husband's life changed at all after this, but I know Ian's did.
Yeah.
And then
Big time.
So they were the same age, right? Sophie and Ian, they were months apart. So they were
Yes.
What's the word, peers or whatever. I think if I could, can I just say something out of left field?
One.
Because it's me. Something that I feel like could have happened, and I'm not saying that he killed her. He may not have, but I feel energetically, whatever. Also, admittedly, some of it's energetically, some of it's just me and my mind chatter and the way that it works, that he was attracted to her and she was not interested. And yeah, I just want to put that out there. So I don't know if that took place at the house. I don't know if it took place wherever they met, if they met at a book sign, see for whatever thing, maybe they met at the grocery store. I don't know. But people seem to think that they did cross paths, that they did know each other. It could have been just basic. I don't know if you know more about that, Jackie. I don't. I just heard that to some degree, meaning they had at least been introduced.
Yeah. That's all I know too. I don't know where or anything.
That's when I'm looking in my notes.
Yeah, and also I ran their numerology and their birthdays, and I can guarantee you he was attracted to her.
Okay.
Like, I'm positive.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it at that. It would not have been returned most likely on her end.
Yeah.
Plus, we know what she was dealing with emotionally. She wasn't in the right headspace for that. And in fact, if he hit on her, and her being a Leo, she might, and I know she was kind of private and this and that and whatever, but she was also fiery. She could have said something that he didn't take nicely. But I don't know. I'm not really feeling, I'm feeling now more like it might not have been him too. But I'm just saying, if they'd had a run in, she would have gave him pushback. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Verbal pushback.
Yeah.
I was seeing, but yeah, I know they met before. Someone mentioned, but I couldn't find it. I didn't write that in my notes.
I saw it, heard it twice, but nobody said how or what that even meant. I mean, it was 600 people in the area. 600. So if you go to the store, I mean, it's going to be like the same 12 people at the store.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
It's to be very, And what did he live 4 miles from her? Was that what it was? 4 miles away?
6, I think.
It wasn't that far.
Him and his on and off girlfriend, which they asked her opinion. I don't know why you would ask her opinion about him. Somebody that stays with somebody that's beat the hell out of you, is abusive and whatever, and she stays. Who cares what she says?
Yeah.
They're totally codependent on each other. What she says means nothing. Nothing. Of course she's going to defend him.
So I end up pulling a few cards just again for the husband. And
Put yourself up on the big screen.
Oh, yeah. If there was some involvement. And you got the 4 of Wands in the beginning, right? The family home? There we go. I had established strength. And didn't you say that the person that they suspect might have done this took a ferry or something over to Cork? They traveled over water?
So it was I don't know exactly. See, so a fella in my hometown who the career that he's in, he knows a fella, he's good friends with a fella and has worked with a fella down in Skull who some suspect in the whole case went to him for, sessions or whatever he does, and said that there was someone new that had come into town the day before the murder and disappeared again the following day, and they said he got on a bus or whatever up to Galway and flew out of Galway.
Because whatever this was planned. There's the 3 of Wands. And on this card it says perfect work.
Wow.
On it. Then I got the 10 of Swords, absolute ruin. The job was done. And another thing too, I just want to add that I noticed in my notes. When she was murdered, do you think the husband came over to take care of her or to accompany her? But no, he didn't even bother going over there.
No.
He said he was too upset.
He never came over yet.
So 3 of Swords.
I'm just saying that's what he said.
Yeah.
And there's the wealth card again. Established wealth. But I also pulled for overall energy. I got the moon. So there's a lot of secrets things that are being hidden. And I'm feeling that, like, again, even though Bailey was extremely volatile and abusive, I'm not getting it was him.
Yeah, I'm not either.
You know, I do want to comment on something else that you guys have probably thought of, and I just want to say it out loud. So there was this big chunk of time, right, Jackie? It was like almost 24 hours, possibly like 22 hours on the outside. It could have been, you know, whatever. So there was drizzle or rain or sleet or whatever the hell. Something's falling out of the sky, right?
All of the above.
Yeah. And she was bludgeoned to death with a concrete block. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That feels either lunatic or passionate. You're either crazy, batshit crazy. Why is there a thumb popping up?
Because
you're talking about
this. You have something on your phone like Gerald does that when you do this.
That's whatever program you're using.
Oh, no shit. I don't know what that is.
Clap your hands and it'll do something else. I don't know. Or do this and it'll do fireworks or something.
No, it's not doing it. Oh my God.
Yeah, now it's not doing it. Anyways, I'll play with it later. I would say I didn't, but I just did an update at AT&T. Maybe they put some whatever the hell. Anyways, what I was going to say is, thank you, Jackie. What I was going to say is that anybody that bludgeons somebody to death with a cinder block is either mad, crazy, woohoo, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, or that's a crime of passion or extreme nut job.
Yeah.
Or both. That is not a planned, meditated murder. You don't hire somebody and then they come and smash your head in with a brick.
Yeah.
And then sloppily leave, and only by whatever 22 hours comes by. You got lucky as a duck. That was this not clean and planned and stealth and all is dressed in black and slipped in and whatever. This was sloppy as hell. But they got away with it because there was such a time lapse and this was out in the middle of nowhere. And yeah. Now, part of it though, okay, devil's advocate, because it was in the middle of nowhere, they probably knew they were going to have some time to play with and all of that. But the brick and the bludgeoning, that's just, you got to have some passion. To me, and I'm not saying it wasn't, or you're clever enough to, hey, if I bludgeon her with a brick, it's going to look like, you know, I wasn't just hired. It's going to look like this is a crime of passion, right?
Yeah.
You got to really, really have a lot in you to kill somebody with a friggin' brick. That's a lot of anger or love turned to hate or whatever, or you're just cuckoo nut job, right? Because that's some crazy dark. I mean, come on, killing somebody with a brick. You got to hit with a brick to kill him. I mean, her face was really screwed up, and her hands. They said her face was unrecognizable. The brambles that were right there, and
she tried getting away.
I don't know. Either it was either staged to look that way. Oh, look at this. Either staged to look that. Anyways, I just wanted to point that out. I found that very interesting. Also, the keys were on the inside of the door.
Yeah.
Her keys were found on the inside of her door. So she opened the door and walked out and went down to the gate, it seems, or I would guess. But then there was blood on the gate. And wasn't there blood on the outside of the door, which means whoever killed her then walked up to the door but couldn't get in or something or other? I don't know. Do you know about that?
I don't know.
I don't think there was. I don't know if there was. But I know that they ended up losing that gate.
They took the gate down because they took the gate into.
But then they lost it.
Headquarters or whatever the hell or whatever. But there was blood on the ground, of course. There was blood on the brick. There was blood on the gate. And then I want to say there was blood on the handle, but they knew that Sophie had opened it from the inside because her key ring remained in the lock on the inside of the cottage.
Our keys were hanging inside, yeah.
And can I just say how stinking cute that cottage is? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Adorable. But I digress. But I mean, I understand why she loved it. It was absolutely spectacular, gorgeous area.
Yeah. She answered the door and they said she was lured out, and then the door would have closed shut and the keys been inside. She was locked out.
if she struck her husband at midnight, she was found dead at 10 a.m. She died somewhere in the wee hours. And what in the hell? I'll tell you what, I don't care what you need. And that's what makes me think that she did know this person. Because why the hell are you? And I would assume that I don't know, that they know that she didn't get any incoming calls or this or that or whatever. Somebody either was down at the gate or something, but she walked out to meet up with whoever. I don't know why you would do that unless you knew that person.
And it was someone who knew where she was anyway. But you see, Bruno, the boyfriend, had been there with her. He had spent time holidaying there with her.
His name is Bruno. Let me ask my pendulum.
And he
Bruno.
was where, though? They cleared him, too. I mean, of course, they cleared everybody. You're going to get cleared if you're a murder person. So to me, the clear doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Well, he was some other sort of film producer or other as well. He was someone high up as well with lots of money. And so I suppose
they were all wealthy. And I read she was a producer as well. I mean, she did other things, but that she was also, not like her husband, but she had also produced.
I think she was a writer.
Right, but she had also, she had done a lot of things. She was very motivated, very successful. She had money in her own right. She came from money. She was born wealthy.
Yeah.
Wow, I wonder. It's just, to me, it's just weird that she came outside.
Now, I know that some people really don't like relying on pendulum, so I had to I was asking and re-asking certain ways.
Like Allyson, go ahead.
Because I'm just going to show y'all what I. Oh my goodness!
Go ahead.
So
I don't care. Anyway.
So I ended up asking because I had my court cards separate. I asked who was the one that was involved, and I keep getting mail cards. So I said, who's the one that actually committed the murder? And I got the Knight of Wands, someone who is holding a torch for somebody, somebody who's energetic, charismatic, and for me it can be very hot tempered. And so I'm looking at, and when you said Bruno, now I had a name, so I went ahead, asked different people. Then I went, okay, his name, and boy, did I get a strong spin. I got my spin was a lot. See, so I don't. This might be someone we can pull cards on. I don't know, but I asked about that, and when you said the name, and I had an exact name to add to the questioning, I got the Moon card. And know what's interesting about the Moon card? She lived way up on the hill, and there was a winding path.
Oh,
wow! Now that, yeah.
There was the full moon that night shining on the place.
Yes, there was.
And she intuitively had a feeling not to go down there. And this could be also like the White Lady too.
Wow, Jesus, yeah.
Oh yeah, and I don't usually read into that, but yeah, those are very telling, aren't they?
Seven of Wands. She defended herself.
And what's the word on that card?
And then I got valor.
Oh, okay.
She fought. They said there were marks all over her hands from her trying to get away through the briars, and from her knuckles being smashed with this person with the brick. And I'm trying to watch how I say things on my lives. But that's how the description was. Her hands and everything were all bashed in from trying to protect herself. And then I got the Four of Swords.
Yeah, that could be death too.
Yeah.
What was your question with that whole stack? What were you asking?
Oh, well, I had separated my court cards to find out who was responsible for the actual physical death of Sophie, and that's when I got the Knight of Wands.
And that's what you got.
And then I had pulled some cards, was kind of looking at them, and then when Jackie mentioned, the lover's name, I was like, okay, I got a name now. Let me kind of ask questions in different ways, and then I added his name in there, and that's when I got the stronger spin. I mean, I got, a strong yes. And of course, again,
I just remembered something too.
One?
Okay.
I remember when I was getting all this information, and Jackie, you might know more about this because you just know more about this in general, but this guy that she had just called it off with, part of the reason she called it off is one, she supposedly she was upset when her husband came split up. but the boyfriend, the guy that she had called it off with, was a little bit possessive, and he was very upset at the breakup.
Yes. Yeah.
Do we know, or I mean, I'll end up, actually, I'll look it up later. I'll say, I wonder when his birthday is. I would love to know, was he younger than her? And also,
no, he was another old guy.
Oh, he was older?
Yeah.
Oh, the guy with the affair too?
That's what I'm talking about, Bruno.
I mean, Daniel was 15 years older than her, and I'd say Bruno was around the same. He looked quite similar to him, when he's slightly smaller man, like. But yeah, I have in my notes, that he was really distraught when she broke up with him, and quite because he was quite possessive and all the rest of it. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Yeah, there was like a 16-year. Oh my goodness, I hadn't even looked at that. There was a 16-year age gap between them. Jesus.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Allyson, look what I got. Older man and lover's card. Overflow of emotions. I did a Celtic spread. I don't know exactly which places were, but I was doing trying to go in the circle like you do. And I got the cups. Again, the Two of Swords, making a decision, at peace with it. She was right here at the middle, walking away. I've had it. I'm moving on. And then the Three of Cups were crossing her. And so for me, I think that would be more like an obstacle. I haven't figured out the Three of Cups yet, but I know we've been getting it. But I also did get, again, I got, she wanted change. That was her. That was in the 7 position. Then I got the external. People knew that she wanted to change. Wheel of Fortune, things turning, things changing. Hopes and fears. Again, I got the 7 of Wands, trying to protect and defend. And again, at the top, the High Priestess intuitively knew what was going to happen. So here, I know, Jackie, you got more questions. I just want
will I fly through my cards? Because the stuff you've said now were making sense to cards that I had. So the next question, what does the suspect gain from the killing? And I have the Strength card. So like I said already, I think it was one of them not happy that, they thought it was all right that they were cheating. Well, the husband, for example, thought it was all right that he was cheating, but not a bit happy that she was cheating. And that, like, what does the suspect gain from the killing is all to do with him just kind of coming out on top, him showing that he's the boss. It's like, you think you can do this, but I'm the only one who's allowed cheat. Do you know what I mean? He was that kind of mentality, shall we say. Hey, Lottie. So that's what I got from that question. Do you want to pull on that, or will I fly through the rest of my cards?
What would be the question again?
What does the suspect gain from the killing?
Let me pull this. The suspect gain, because that would be a big factor. Because if it was the husband, then that means that he gets $1 million life policy on her, and he can go ahead and use that to make the new wife happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what? I'll mute myself. So what did the killer have to gain from the murder?
I'm looking at Allyson. What's this about?
I think her husband hired somebody to kill her.
Yeah. That's what I think.
Yep. And I'm using all 4 card spreads, so I know exactly what each card mean and what everything is. I don't do, anyways. Yeah. I do. I think he hired somebody to kill her. There was money exchanged.
But it
there was
must
a
have been
decision about the truth of what was going to happen. I don't think this person likes that they go around killing people, but obviously, if you're a murderer,
he was probably being handsomely. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was, and he was good. He's good at what he does, and yeah, yep. I think he hired somebody.
Like, you've seen the distance from the house down to the gate, right? It was quite a long walk. Like, so they had to have been known on some level to her for her to actually come out of the house and walk all the way down that path to where she was going to be brutally murdered with a concrete block. Do you know what I mean? Why would you just walk all the way down there in the middle of the night for a stranger? Do you know?
And it's interesting, she was on the phone with her husband at midnight or around midnight when they're all estranged or whatever. She's away for Christmas. Not that you're not going to talk if it's your husband, but just it's almost like he wanted to know it. And maybe I'm stretching things, but like he wanted to know where she was. He knew she was at home or the cottage.
Yeah.
He knew where she was. Yeah. She's probably getting ready to go to bed before too long, I would think.
Picking up last minute, like, yeah.
Yeah. Just really quick, Care Bear wanted to know what car position. I think she's following along.
This is only question number 3 of 15.
I saw Heather shared that thing with me, but I didn't see a spread. I just saw like, so how are you doing that? Because I didn't see numbers on it either. I mean, it's not you're just answering each one. And what are you doing on each square? Are you pulling like a past, present, future, or what do you do on each of those squares?
No, I only asked. Well, it's 15 questions and there's five. A single card, yeah. That's all I'm doing because that's enough cards.
Okay. So
it's a lot of. It's not a spread, but it's a beautiful set of questions, and I think that's a great idea. Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
For me, let's see. How do I? Oh, there we go. Yeah, it could very. I'm just wondering, and I'm just putting this out there. This is how they're speculating because it popped into her head. What if the husband and the lover?
Yeah.
I'm just putting that out there because
I think so.
The husband and what?
The ex-lover, Bruno.
Daniel. That's what
I wondered.
What if the husband found out, oh, you broke up? It would be like, I have a problem. You're upset. What if? I mean, this is just me. I write, so my brain is kind of going to go there.
Let's take Sophie out.
I did wonder that. We go halves on what we get, you know.
It's just speculative because I'm trying to figure out why I was getting strong cards for husband, strong cards for Bruno.
What are you holding there?
So right now, this is what I'm holding is the wealth card.
10 of Pentacles.
What did the person hope to gain from it? So money. There's established money, wealth. I got 9 of Cups. Material happiness, emotional happiness. And Sophie went down at night in her nightgown, right?
Yeah.
So this kind of feels sort of
What's
like
that, star?
There's moderation, there's
Temperance.
balance, patience,
Temperance.
And then I got multiple people working together.
Yeah. I did wonder the same, Heather.
And what was the question?
What did the murderer gain to? What did the suspect? No, wait a minute. What was the Jackie?
Oh, same question.
What did the suspect gain from the killing? Yeah, there were just other cards she'd pulled. Yeah.
So, what do you want us to pull on next?
I have what was the victim doing the day before the murder?
Okay.
Now I got the lovers. Now, you see, the fact there's 2 naked people, you could be thinking the obvious.
What?
However, she was there alone. She wasn't, as Ian Bailey said, having a different fella there every night of the week because the neighbours all said she wasn't like that at all. She had broken up with Bruno a few weeks before she went to Ireland. So the only other thing that would make sense with this card, because it's about decision making, would be that she was contemplating what the hell she was going to do. Because like I said, her own family and friends said in the documentary on Netflix that she was afraid to go on her own. She wanted someone to go with her. So she knew something was coming down the line. She was trying to make decisions. What the hell am I going to do? Do you know?
She was dealing with that situation. That's what the lover's card would mean to me if I pulled it.
Yeah.
That's what was on her mind. That's what she was processing. Actually, all her men probably. That's what she was.
Yeah.
Because she is the lover, to both of those men or whoever all there was, whatever. And she'd been downtown the day before. She'd been in town. People saw her. She was, I mean, and it was Christmas time and she had just gotten in town. She could have went and got groceries. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, and she had gone to a tavern and had a cup of tea. The day before is when she saw the ghost.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Karen.
There's supposed to be for anybody that's interested. I didn't see it because I don't have it, but there's supposed to be a good Jackie, you've probably documentary on her on Netflix apparently.
There's one on Netflix. I've watched that one, but there's another one that's supposed to be a lot better, but it's not on Netflix, so I haven't seen the other one. But the one on Netflix is good.
So what was she doing the day before she was murdered?
Yes.
Well, she was having a tower moment. She was juggling maybe money, finances. This could be possibly, well, it's not cup. So for me, it's not necessarily men, but juggling finances, options, her security, moving forward. And I also got, again, the Two of Swords. She really needed to make a decision. And I think that decision, because I reshuffled and this was at the bottom of the deck, her home life. And there's the Four of Wands. I decided, I was shuffling and I felt to pull again. And it's because I got the Sun card. So something came to life for her. But you know what? Just hear me out. Sun card, she had a son, right?
Yeah.
Then I got the Empress, the Mother card. And then I got the Eight of Pentacles. I'm wondering if she was trying to work out how she can maybe financially have her son come with her. I mean, she loved her son. I mean, her son, loved her. I mean, he won't sell the house, even with what happened to her there. I mean, those two had a bond together, the mother and the son. And I was thinking that maybe she was trying to figure out what to do moving forward, especially financially, professionally, with what was going on at home. So that's kind of how my interpretation is right there for that one. Give or take.
She was she was in deep contemplation. I had the Queen of Cups come out, which is about listening to, well, the way I read it, it's more like mother energy, but it's also like listening to your intuition, going within, being very quiet. She was in seclusion. She went there because she liked her privacy. That's why she bought that place. The overall energy, Four of Swords, pulling back, contemplating, thinking about everything. That's the overall energy. I have Four of Wands, the Hanged Man, the Three of Cups. She was, she was at home. She was trying to figure out how she was going to move forward and go into her own, what she wanted, or how she was going to make everything okay. That's what I get of this. And I'm sure she was. I mean, we know what was basically going on in her life, and we already know a little bit about what was happening. I'm sure she was deep in introspection.
Yeah.
Nothing too exciting. Processing emotions, this and that. Plus the Queen of Cups, she's super, emotional lady.
Yeah.
Oh, and I got the Tower at the bottom of the deck. She was, look at this, the Tower, the Hierophant. I mean, she was upset about the breakdown.
I got the Tower.
She was upset about the breakdown of her marriage. Although I don't know why she'd be so surprised, but and I'm sure they were super wealthy, but yeah, you got to figure out a lot more than just the money and what you're going to do.
Yeah.
All right. So really quick, I didn't realize what time it was. It's 1:16. I do have to go in 15 minutes. We're expecting a phone call at some point for about this apartment that we're trying to get into. I told them I would be available after 1:30. So, for me, I mean, you and, yeah, so I'm sorry, Jackie. I mean, this could always be a part two.
Ah,
There's
yeah,
just so much information. We could
yeah.
always, do a part two like we did with Delphi, on this case. Do you want us to pull another question, or do we want to see what chat has to share?
Well, will I fly through the last ones I have?
Okay, yeah, I'll put you on the big screen.
So what was the victim doing the hour before the murder? So you have to think about the timing with this. I got the sun card, right? So the hour before the murder would have been after midnight and after she was talking to the husband. So maybe the husband had made her think that they were going to sort everything out, and maybe she was happy and she thought everything was going to be fine. So maybe she was sitting having her glass of wine, because there was glasses of wine on the side of the sink. And just chilling and thinking everything was going to be okay. Do you know, maybe she was happy, right? The hour before she was murdered, which would make sense as to why she was easily lured out of the house then, right? What were the events leading up to the murder? Queen of Swords. This is her again, thinking about everything and trying to sort stuff out, right? How was the murder carried out? Knight of Swords. So someone came in fast and unexpectedly, and maybe, like Allyson said, that it was just a kind of a slapdash kind of a thing, not properly planned out. He just charged in and went for it, you know. Why was the crime committed at that time? The Emperor, I just feel this ties in with the fact that, well, first of all, it's like the husband, kind of. But just, again, him trying to make it be known that he was the boss, and just because he was allowed to have affairs didn't mean she was allowed to have affairs. What he said goes, kind of a thing. Was anyone else involved? I have the wheel, which initially I was like, what the hell? But the fact that there's so many different figures on this card would just suggest to me that, yes, there was other people involved, right? Does the suspect have an alibi? Absolutely. The two of them had alibis, you know, apparently, Bruno and Daniel. So, and again, this is the Page of Swords. This is someone who's quick thinking, who's logical, who knows what he's doing, planned ahead of time. So, yeah, I think he did have an alibi. Does the suspect have a criminal record? I can't kind of tie this into the actual question, but the fact, I've just read it as a yes card anyway. Do you know, if anyone has any thoughts, please do let me know. But that's just what I thought. Yeah. Oh, yes. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Ooh.
Paperwork.
Yeah,
whatever.
absolutely. Where is the suspect now? He took off and went into hiding. He left the shit behind and, you know, hope no one would find him. What did the suspect do after the murder? We have the Seven of Clouds. I was going to say the Seven of Clouds. The Seven of Cups. Because this fella's head is up in the clouds, it's just like he went off into hiding, you know, because obviously if clouds surrounded you, you'd be hidden. So what did the suspect do after the murder? He took off and hid. Did the suspect tell anyone else about what they did? Queen of Pentacles. I would think there is someone grounded and down to earth, but that could, of course, if it was someone hired by the husband, it would be the husband, because this would be someone kind of in control of the money, someone who knew what they were doing and had taken the time to do the planning. And the last question, did the suspect do anything with evidence? And I got the Queen of Cups. So if someone would like to shed light on that for me, did the suspect do anything with evidence?
What is that card?
Did the suspect do anything with evidence?
It's the Queen of Cups.
What
Queen of
card
Cups.
is that?
Queen of
Queen of
Cups.
Did the suspect do anything with the evidence? Queen of Cups?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would have pulled a clarifier on that one. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Maybe did something in the water, wash something, threw something into a water,
Yeah.
or
Queen
could
of
be
Cups.
that maybe the mistress or a woman or somebody with those
Did
qualities.
they do anything with the evidence?
Yeah.
Do anything with the evidence? Maybe it's to do with the wine glasses. I mean, you see, they said that.
Yes.
And this would make sense to me, right? Because we'd wash stuff here after we use them and put them on the draining board and leaving them there. So you know, a day or two later, there might be a few wine glasses on the trading board, but it doesn't mean that we might have had 4 people sitting around having a glass of wine. It could have been the 2
Right,
of
they're
us.
just sitting there, and there were 2.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
that's the conclusion that the cops came to, was that there was no evidence of anyone being in the house, and that she could have used one of the wine glasses the day before and one on that day. But unless did the suspect do anything with the evidence, maybe it is something to do with the wine glass, because that's the queen there holding the cup, you know?
Wow.
So,
And guess
I don't
what
know.
flew out? The house card again, the foundation.
Yeah.
You're like, what does that mean? Well, for me, again, it takes me back to family.
And you know
Yeah.
what, right? Do you know the story I told you, Heather, of what's going on here now, right? Same as last week, I've had so many missed calls and texts, right, while I'm on. There's forensics all over the place in Cove at the moment. They found the machete that was used on the 15th of March. Yeah.
Oh
You know,
my God.
so speaking of evidence and forensics and all the rest of it, and everyone is sending me photographs of the forensics on the beach finding the machete that was used. It's like,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
yeah. Anyway.
Oh, I took you out the big. You still have more cards to share, right? I'm sorry, hon.
No, well, I was only going to see about a clarifier for that, but work away, and I'll see about a clarifier in the meantime. So you finish up there.
So, I just pulled when you were talking. I just pulled from the haunted house, and guess what came up again for all 3 of us? Whoops. There's the tower again. And what did I get again? I got the Knight of Wands. Sasha Graham says for her, this is someone holding a torch for somebody. So this was, and then the next card I got was the 3 of Swords. The thing right into the heart. So
Wow.
I still feel like this was somebody that she was having an affair with, or she had been in a relationship with. They were still holding a torch for her. And I know that the ex was not happy with her breaking it off with them.
Yeah.
So, Allyson, you got anything else you want to add, sweetheart?
I did. Actually, I just pulled on.
That's
you
how
were
I
asking
talk.
what was the victim Sophie doing an hour before she was killed, right?
Yeah.
So I got the Page of Swords, overall energy, right? This is communicating, and I got the 8 of Pentacles, the 5 of Wands, 7 of Swords. So I think she was trying to spin her BS to her husband on the phone and doing cleanup in aisle 5 about whatever it was that he knew. I don't think she was being completely honest about the situation. So, 8 of Pentacles, 5 of Wands, 7 of Swords. That's
7
not
of Swords
being
again.
But you know, I get it, right? You know, you're not gonna be like, yeah, I'm totally screwing this guy, and you know, whatever she was doing. But I mean, he did it. So I don't know, but that's what I got from those cards. They were talking about what had gone on between them, but she was not being completely upfront. Honest, they were definitely trying to figure out what to do with the 8 of Pentacles. So, but anyways, that's as far as I got. So, because I was pulling 4 cards on all those positions, but that's actually really cool. That's neat.
So, my care coordinator says that she's going to give me an extra few minutes. She says she hasn't had a chance yet to call. So, if you wanted to share some more, Jackie, let me put you up, and I'll just keep going until and then I'll just go ahead and.
Let's throw the next question. The next question was, what were the events leading up to the murder?
Oh, that's when I pulled those. Okay, so that's what I pulled those cards were with the tower and the.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was what those were for.
Yeah.
And I think so. I'll just pull again from a different deck because I think Allyson's pulling on that. Let me grab another deck. I got plenty of them.
I pulled a clarifier, right, for that Queen of Cups. Did the suspect do anything with the evidence? And typical, of course, I got another court card, as you do, Heather.
Yep.
I got the King of Swords. So this would kind of just say, again, that someone was very clever about hiding some evidence, maybe even in plain view kind of a thing, you know?
Okay, this is interesting. Okay, so what was going on just the day before, just before, I got, again, the Eight of Pentacles from another deck. She was working on what? Home, family, her kid, happiness,
Yeah.
and trying to figure out financially what to do. And at the bottom, I got the Knight of Swords. They might have been debating, arguing, or just trying to figure out what they were going to do moving forward.
Yeah.
And so I feel that it's just weird. It feels like two people are involved in this, because I'm getting cards that would make you think, okay, this is debating, talking about maybe, or this could have been maybe the affair and saying, listen, I want to try to, you know, fix things with the family, my son, and then him coming in and saying, oh, you know, just doing what they did. I mean, reverse. This is, you know, aggression. I don't reversals. It didn't come out reversed. Because if it does, then I'll read it. But I still almost feels like there's like a double energy here that I think I would need a bigger spread or layout to figure out. So I'm going to give it over to Allyson.
Allyson is doing a lot of oh my godding.
Mm-hmm. Because when we were talking about the spreads, Allyson likes that cross, because then when she puts down the card, she knows exactly where everything. So
Yeah. Does Allyson have herself muted or?
no, she's talking out loud. When she shuffles, she reads her out loud what she's asking.
You talking about me?
Yeah.
I just heard.
Because she
Okay.
didn't know if you were muted, and I said that's you. You mute
Like, I
yourself
couldn't
and
see if
talk.
you
I
were
always
muted.
mute because I talk to my guides, my cards, whatever you want to call it.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Do share.
Go. Sorry. What was I? God, I already forgot. What was I asking? What led up to this?
What
What were the events leading up to the murder?
What were the events leading up to it? She was having some major conflict and stress and anxiety, Nine of Swords, with this King of Wands. This is Daniel,
Yeah.
her husband.
Okay.
She then was having some sort of a communication with King of Swords, which is Ian Bailey
Bruno.
or somebody else. If we're going literal, it doesn't have to be, but he is an Aquarius. Doesn't have to be him, but it's somebody other than the husband. For me, for sure, that first position, King of Wands, is Daniel.
Okay.
It just is. This is another person. This is a person. So this is King of Swords, clarified by Page of Swords. To me, this is communication. This is absolutely and then we have, after that, we have the Ace of Swords being clarified by the Empress. This is the truth about how this person was feeling about her. This was a passionate something. Again, I really don't think that this was planned. I just don't. I have the Ace of Cups clarified by the Queen of Swords. This is about her speaking her truth about how she felt. Oh, the outcome. This is gross. I got Ace of Coins and Justice. Somebody felt like she deserved this. This was a crime of passion. That's what I'm making of this. I just do. Doesn't mean that it was necessarily that person, but now I'm kind of going back to maybe it was this. What was his name? What was his name? Bruno?
Bruno? Well, there's Bailey and there's then Bruno. Bailey is the one that was
not Bailey, not Ian.
Okay.
Bruno.
No,
I mean, it could be. I don't know, but there was definitely a communication. It was about attraction. There was a denial. She spoke her truth, and I think she was. I guess look what I got is the overall energy again. The tower. What was the tower about? Trying to work together, but it just did not happen. This was a crime of passion. That's my opinion.
Three of Swords. Yep. I just pulled out the Three of Swords. So yeah, definitely.
But who? I don't know. He was an Aquarius. I don't know. It just almost seems too obvious that it's Ian.
Is it Bruno was an Aquarius?
Oh, he was?
No, that's what I'm asking you. Who are you saying was an Aquarius?
Oh, I don't have Bruno's
Ian.
birthday. Ian Bailey's Aquarius.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
So you got another
I'm saying I'll
question you
look
want
up
us
later.
to?
I'm just curious. I mean, it doesn't need to be. It can also just be personality. But I don't know. Ian was just so full of himself and like,
Yeah.
let's talk about me. And I'm such an amazing artsy fartsy blah blah blah. And he was just gross. It's like, shut up. I mean, he was just so full of himself. It was ridiculous. Did you see any of the interview? I listened to him talk for 1 minute and I shut it off. And all the pictures of him, and he was just so either he was totally loony, which he could have been, absolutely could have been, but it was almost too obvious to me. What I don't like though is the confession. He confessed to it twice.
Yeah.
Once to a young boy, and another time he was drunk and there were people there, and he admitted it, said it both times that he killed her.
I think it was just for,
attention.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't well.
Right. I think he was bananas. I think he was totally bananas. Nothing against bananas. I'm just saying, I don't think he was smart, but he was also crazy. I know somebody like that.
This shit
and
is
they could
bananas.
convince you of whatever.
Sorry,
what's
when
that?
When you said bananas, all I could hear was that Gwen Stefani song. This shit
Oh
is
yeah,
bananas. And as I'm shuffling, this flipped out again. The Emperor, an older man.
I do think he might have been stalking her, though. It's possible. He could have been watching her.
Yeah.
It is weird that he got there so quickly and he knew stuff about her. I mean, the whole thing reeks.
Unless he saw what went down.
Yeah,
and that was his story.
That could be too. I'm just, Jackie, what do you think? I mean, he knew much, but what yet to think he's innocent? Like, what do you? I'm just curious. Like, how do you? You think it's just he was stalking her and happened?
No, I don't think so. See, they said that he was a very prominent reporter back in Manchester when he was in Manchester, but when he came to Ireland, he was the first person on the scene all the time. He was the one that was so talkative and persuasive that he got the information out of people like that. People had no problem talking to him and telling him the cops, when he went to the scene first, there was only a few cops there already. They were telling him stuff that they probably shouldn't have been telling him. Do you know what I mean? So he was there on the scene just after she was found, and they were giving him information about what had happened, what they'd known. So they said he really was a very talkative, persuasive person, which made him really good as a reporter because he was able to get the scoop straight away on anything that happened. So I don't think it was that he was following her or necessarily there or did it or anything like that. I think it was just he went, he asked the cops. They told him, I have to say, right, I'm the same. I go up to school every day, right, to collect my kids. And I might see that there was a teacher missing, for example, and I'll ask a teacher, oh, come here, where's such and such a teacher? They haven't been in for a while. They'll tell me straight away like that. They shouldn't be giving out people's personal information. Do you know what I mean? But they tell me stuff straight away. So I think I have that kind of a gift as well. Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. Yeah, and some people, you just want to. Some people, and I don't know if this is exactly what you mean, but I know that like some people, you just kind of want to almost just, you want to share with them.
Yeah, yeah.
I've experienced,
and they said he was like
with
that.
people that I've met and talked to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They said he was an amazing reporter because he was able to get the information out of people. He had a way of talking to people. Yes, he was fucking nuts. I know that.
Interesting.
Oh yeah, he definitely was, but that doesn't mean that he did it, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, he definitely was. I mean, like you see him and how he is and how he talked and what people had to say about him, and you either liked him or you didn't like him, and he was, you know, but very intelligent, definitely narcissistic, but good at what he did, and doesn't mean he's guilty. So
yeah.
I'm curious who was, you know, what's that?
No, go on.
You know, the lady that retracted her statement?
Yeah.
or walked it back or whatever, but she did see what she saw. I'm very curious who she saw. Sophie, which somebody watching Sophie. I'm just curious who that was. I mean, it probably was whoever killed her.
Yeah, the fella they saw on the bridge, or the fella she saw on the bridge.
Right.
When she eventually gave a proper description, they actually got a name as to who he was, and then somehow got all the details about this guy, and they traced him to Paris, and he's still living in Paris, whoever he is. But he's a known associate of
you did say
the husband,
that before.
Daniel. Yeah.
Of Daniel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very
which would make me think
is
that
that guy still alive? Do we know?
That video that I watched was only posted a year ago, so I don't know any more about him. I haven't actually. I should read the comments. I'm just read the comments. I didn't go through any comments yet. But that would kind of make me think like that there's some link between Bruno and Daniel, as if like Heather got a kind of the same idea, as if the two of them came together and said, look, we're not happy about this, let's bump her off, and they made a plan, you know, that the two of them kind of were in on it, like, and maybe decided to split the inheritance or whatever. Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
Sorry, Lays, I had to take a phone call.
Yeah.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
Not good news.
Oh shit.
So what's your next question? I got time as long as Allison's got time.
Why was the crime committed at that time?
I do. Say that one more time, honey.
Why was the crime committed at that time?
Okay.
This is what people are sending me. Look, one of the forensic cops on the beach, and there's an arrow pointing to the machete. Mad, isn't it? That's cray. Your man was the guy here was charged with murder anyway, so within a week, imagine. It was just kind of crazy because things usually take years here. So it's kind of surprising that it's all gone down in a week, but anyway.
Okay, I had to do another quick text really quick. What was the question again, Jackie?
No problem. Why was the crime committed at that time? Just gonna have a look through my notes and see is there anything else that I need to throw out at you.
You know my love of court cards, right?
Oh, okay.
Why did it happen at that time? Court card. Oh, good Lord.
I should have brought my court card notes. No dyslexia or anything else here.
Oh, so why did it happen at that time? I'm going to mute myself for a second.
You know, God, I am so back and forth with this.
Are you?
I can go though. Should I go, Heather? So, oh, gosh, I just keep changing my mind about who I think it could be. I'm still not really sure. Why it was committed, when it was committed, it was agreed upon to do so. I feel like more than one person was involved in this. It was the time to do it. It was about what made sense in some sort of way. I do think that, once again, though, I do think that this could have been a for hire crime. It looks like a crime of passion, but that doesn't mean that it was.
Yeah.
This is about maintaining the lifestyle this person had been accustomed to, making the decision to do it with judgment and making the plan to move forward. This would be her husband hiring somebody. It was the time to do it. It was the time to do it. Something to do about The Nine of Pentacles is about looking at what all you have and what you've achieved and what it looks like and making the decision to move forward and hold on to this. This is about reciprocity, giving, receiving, blah, blah. Her husband, it was a good time for him. He had the life insurance policy, right?
Yeah.
For entertainment
Yeah.
purposes only. He had the new chickie on the line, and I don't know. That's what I'm making of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely.
I got more stuff leaning towards for hire from the husband than anything else.
That's what I think, yeah.
Wow. And that's not what I thought at all. But I didn't know I had pulled any cards and I was just listening to information. And I did listen to a lot. And then I heard what you said.
They both seem to have alibis.
That's why they, well, actually, that's not really true. See, that's why they had such a hard time putting it on Ian. But yet he's gone and they can't get him and this and that and whatever. But it wasn't 100%. I just don't like the fact that he confessed to doing it. But then again, I do think he's nuts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or was.
Yeah. He did or said anything for a bit of attention. Like, he literally did, like.
So extravagant. So,
over the
look
top.
at me and just.
He used to go into the pub and call everyone to attention and stand up on a table or a stool or something and recite poetry.
He'd start talking and you hear circus music.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That job.
Bless him, he was.
Yeah. So, are you done sharing your cards, Allyson?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have to know.
Hey, pretty cat.
And I'll be right. Oh, hi, baby. I'll be right back. I got to give my dog something.
No bother.
Yeah, I had to give mine attention just now. So I got. Oh boy, these court cards are determined to. You're gonna learn me. You're gonna learn me. But no, it's. So first of all, I got Queen of Wands and the Hermit, and the clarifier is the Hermit. So for me, this is her. Independent. She's creative. She's taken her life back into her hands, and she was looking for solitude. Boom. So for me, immediately, that's Sophie right there. Next, I got is the King of Pentacles, clarified by the Four of Pentacles. He wanted to hold on to his money. He did not want to lose any money to her for a divorce. Yeah. So yeah, the King of Pentacles, professional, material success. He built his empire or whatever, and he wasn't going to let any of that go to her. So the next card I got was the Page of Cups. So this is it says new infatuation, but for me, it's still it's a person that to me, it's a person who might have been younger to be able to carry this out. And to clarify the Page of Cups, I got the Three of Pentacles again. So this was a collaboration. So for me, it's three people. I'm still wondering if he might have been in cahoots with talking to other. I don't know. I keep getting the three involved unless one of these is supposed to represent her in the equation. But again, there's the working together, the collaboration. The last card in that row that I got was death. Plain and simple. It was her death. At the bottom for overall energy, I got the Star. He wanted to, for me, the Star could very well be he wanted to keep his his empire. He wanted to keep making his movies. He wanted to be the Star. And then to clarify that one, I got the Two of Pentacles, trying to juggle, trying to keep everything in balance. And so for me, this could also maybe very well be her, but still it's this whole premise because he was well known, she was well known, and just juggling to keep their finances afloat, their personal finances. So yeah, that's what I got.
I'm wondering too what else all of that could mean. And the only reason I'm saying that is because she came from money. was originally for money. She earned her own money in her own right. He was very wealthy. You're going to have prenuptial agreement. Third marriage for both of them, you're not going to go, unless you're a complete moron, you're going to be, which
sorry, honey.
They were both educated. They were both smart people. And I'm not saying that's not what it means. It's just there's something I think we're not seeing. So it's like there's no way this guy was financially irresponsible. There's no way. If anything, it was greed. And Jackie was mentioning that there was a life insurance policy. So maybe there was more money to be made if she did die. Because, I mean, just getting a divorce, you have prenuptial agreement. I mean, as long as you're smart and you have good paperwork written up, it doesn't even matter. You just divorce. It's whatever's figured. I mean, there's some stuff to be figured out, but I mean, that's what that's in place for. Is to protect you.
I'm sorry. When you were taking care of Scout, the fur pups, I pulled, I had the King of Pentacles and I asked for a clarifier and I got the Four of Pentacles. So yeah, trying to hold on to their money, not wanting to let it go, not wanting to have to lose any more money in this relationship. I mean, in this marriage. So.
Right.
I think you had gotten the Four of Pentacles before too, or Jackie did.
I got the 6, the giving and the receiving, but I just don't. I'm sure that financially, somebody of his, I just can't see him not having his ducks in a row.
The Tower card. So the Tower is that one card, that energy, that major arcana energy, that's tying us all together. With this case,
something happened that was unexpected or whatever, and this is like prior to the murder, so I don't know, maybe there was some.
Hey Tom, how you feeling, my friend? I hope you're feeling better. Thanks for popping in. So you got another question for us, Jackie?
Wasn't anyone else involved, but I think we've all decided that
we kept getting 3 of Pentacles.
We've all gotten that.
Yeah. Does the suspect have an alibi?
I'm going to pull my yes or no cards for that. I'll be right back.
Oh, they've unmuted themselves again. I better talk to you. For those new coming in, I've already pulled the answer, the one card to see for each of these. I have 15 questions of a spread for a murder mystery, so I've pulled cards on these. So what I pulled for does the suspect have an alibi was the Page of Swords, which is that the suspect does have an alibi. And you see, suspect is a broad word in this case because, like, I do genuinely believe that it was someone hired to do the job, right, by the husband, possibly Bruno involved too. That's quite possible, I think, as well. But even though some random fella might have done it, if you think about it, as someone that was hired, the suspect still technically is the husband if he had hired said, whatever you call him, killer, So Page of Swords, like, to me, just said that it was someone who was on top of their game mentally and had it planned and knew that maybe because he wasn't known to the people in Skull that he could get in and get out and, without too much suspicion, and that the boys then would have their alibis. Yes, Heather?
I was going 1 banana, 2 banana, 3
All right.
So just really quick though, somebody may have had an alibi, but that could have been a corroborated alibi as well.
Yeah.
Because the first card I got, did this person have an alibi? Let me just really quick here. Immediately I got the 5 of Wands. And I got a no. That's one of my no cards. But then I got 2 yes cards, which is the 6 of Cups. Kind of like nostalgia, kind of like, here, let me talk to you. Let me offer you something here. And then I got the 2 of Pentacles, balancing. Let's balancing our stories. Let's make sure that our stories are straight. Let's make sure. So I'm wondering if it's possible that this person technically had an alibi, but it was a falsified alibi.
Yeah.
And at the bottom of the deck, I just had the 3 of Cups, the Emperor, and then the 5 of Pentacles. followed by the lover. So the story is continuing underneath as well. So, but I'll put those back so that I don't kind of.
And you
muck up
see,
the-
two fellas with all that money can easily buy themselves an alibi. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, different perspective. So let's flip things around. Let's kind of make sure we, So
Yeah.
for me, it feels like there is an alibi, but it may not necessarily be a truthful alibi.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm gonna give over to Allyson. I'm good. You're on the mend. That's good, my friend. And hello,
Good stuff,
Marty.
Tom.
Yeah, and they paid for their alibi. This is her husband. Page of Coins is the overall energy. This is what was paid for.
Right.
It was completed before it even happened. We have the Emperor here, which is an Aries, which he is a Hierophant. This is the husband card or the marriage card. This is her husband.
Wow.
King of Coins, first card for the 3-card spread. This is him because he's the guy with all the money. He had already moved on with what he had figured out and gotten out of Dodge and wasn't anywhere around with the Chariot about what this is. Page of Cups. Yeah, this is like, he's got his sweet little alibi. The Moon. This is the deception. This is the story. This is the alibi. This is the plan about the action and what. Yeah, all day long. It's the husband. It's the husband. It's the husband. It's the husband. I'm now convinced it's the husband. That's just me. Husband.
Yeah.
For hire. He has an alibi that he paid for, that he laid out, that he designed. Yep.
I just wonder why it was just so, unprofessional.
There was more money to be made. That's all I can think of. There was more money with her dead. I think he's greedy. He wanted to have his cake and eat it too. He wanted his new bride. He could cash out on a life insurance policy. That would be my guess. Because there's no way she was going to get his money in a divorce. There's no way somebody that established did not have his ducks in a row. And if he just put out a life insurance policy, there was more money for her dead than alive. Is that crazy? I mean, that's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happens when you're a narcissist.
Yeah, I don't know anything about him. I don't know
And
if
you're
he is a
greedy.
narcissist. I mean, I don't know. And I'm not saying he's not, but I don't know anything about the husband. Other than he was obviously going to be very wealthy with the position that he had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And anybody that's three wives deep, actually that would be 4th wife deep, and your wives are much younger than you by a couple decades. Yeah, you might have a little bit of some narcissistic tendencies. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I wonder the first two alive.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he did, but that's what it looks like. I don't know.
Yeah.
For entertainment purposes only.
Of course. Got another question for us, Jackie?
Because
this looks wacky.
There was only one unknown, or was it? I don't know. There wasn't DNA at the time. I don't think, was there?
Well,
there was
he was willing to give his DNA. He was willing to give a hair sample.
Oh, Ian was, yeah.
Yeah, but I think there was maybe another blood sample there. And
there was something found that was unknown. So I mean, that would make sense to be some foreign guy who went over to the job.
Ian did give DNA.
Yeah.
Yeah. But by that time, though, a lot of the DNA was so damaged already at the crime scene from them leaving her poor body out there. So
yeah, and it's not like getting DNA today that had been out in the elements.
Yeah.
This is at the beginning stages of doing all that stuff. What was this in 96? Yeah.
Yeah.
96.
I mean, that's 32 years ago. God, wow. Yeah.
I'm wondering if there's any way. I don't know if she was cremated or not, but I don't know if there's any way if her family has ever wanted to. I know it's a gruesome concept, but to have her exhumed and have them now with DNA technology that we have, if they would be able to find anything, despite the fact that she was exposed to the elements. But they're finding a lot of stuff now.
They do.
With people frozen from 1,000 some years ago, and they're using DNA to find out what they were eating, what was in her system.
You know
they're
what?
finding fractures and things.
I find that very interesting that they can even do that, because bodies are washed and cleaned before they're embalmed and dressed and all of that for like funerals and stuff like that. Now, stuff that's in the tissues I can get, but like as far as like DNA of somebody that killed her, what would even be there at this point?
I don't know. They said that when they did examine her, there was no assault.
Yeah.
There was no sexual assault.
She had
so it was
assaulted.
Yeah. So it was just caught off guard, maybe, But it's still interesting that there were 2 wine glasses there. And people say, well, that doesn't mean anything. Well,
I don't think it does, honestly. Not to be.
Really?
They're drinkers.
Uh-oh.
I don't know about you, but like I admittedly I've got a thing about nothing, and like stuff after it's clean and drying, I don't always put it away.
Oh yeah, I don't either.
I'll grab from there and use it.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. The next question, will I throw it out to G? Does the suspect have a criminal record?
I get crime of passion. Let's put these cards away.
Good Lord. There's nothing else really that I only watched half the video I watched earlier on and wrote 2 pages of notes, but I just couldn't write any more notes because I was tired writing. Yeah, but to me the oddest thing was, like I said, the fact that she always went there alone. She loved the place and she went there to get away. So the fact that her whole family and friends that were interviewed for the documentary on Netflix all said that she asked them all individually, begging them to go with her, that she didn't want to be alone, was just suspicious to begin with. Do you know what I mean? She obviously was afraid of something or worried that something was going to happen.
Yes.
Do you know?
There's that intuition.
Yeah.
But did she tell anybody anything? And she did come up as the Queen of Cups for me, regarding what Heather just said. I'm just curious. It's like,
go ahead.
No, she didn't tell anyone anything. She asked them to go, and they said they couldn't for whatever reason, and they were suspicious of it. Like, but she didn't tell them anything. So I don't know. But they all.
I don't think this person had a criminal record. I don't think this person has a criminal record. The person that's responsible for it.
Yeah.
Clarified by the 6 of Swords. But I have the King of Coins, the 8 of Coins, the Knight of Wands. This is very strategic, very planned. And then with the action taken. This is regarding the criminal record, right? I would say that's a no. Looking at all of that, but that doesn't mean that this person is the one. The person that's responsible is the one that paid over the money. That's how I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get you.
This is passion. This Ace of Cups, to me, that's what this is. This was a single one of. This was about getting away, moving away. Can you imagine? This is about money ultimately and taking the action. You know what? I think. Hold on one second. I'm curious.
Let me put her back. I didn't realize that she wasn't in the big seat. There we go.
pulled a clarifier. I got the Ace of Wands. This is a big old yes. Her husband's ego was totally bruised and jacked out of shape that she was having an affair.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter that he's been having affairs. That has nothing to do with this.
That's what I think. Yeah.
And he's like, oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'll show you.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's what I think, and I'm sticking to it. That's what I think. Yep. I think he felt like, I feel like he was completely emotionally detached. I don't think he, of course, anybody's been moving on to their fourth wife. I'm curious if this guy has children. I wonder if he has children.
I didn't hear anyone say anything like that.
If he doesn't, no judgment, everybody. If he doesn't, that only solidifies further how I think about him. If he has no kids.
Yeah.
None.
Interesting. So I pulled from the true crime. And
I'm going to look
I
and
don't know
see
which
what
card to share first or not.
Heather's doing.
I got drugs may be an important factor in the case. This has to do with the criminal record. And when I say drugs, is that I'm not saying she was doing, because we all know she was drinking. I mean, the killer might have. They might have been getting kind of, maybe they were nervous. They needed some liquid courage, as they call it. They may have even been already somebody who was taking stuff. But I am getting some sort of drug or alcohol was involved. And now killer has a history of committing crimes. But like what Allyson was saying, because if it was allegedly, speculatively, if it was the husband, of course he wouldn't have a criminal record because he would have somebody else doing it for them. And it's interesting that I got this card because it's how many years old this case is. It says additional evidence is at the crime scene. So there may have been something that police missed all those years ago. Maybe something in the bushes. Maybe something got ripped off a person, the killer or something. There may still be something there within the brush or whatever. I mean, over the years, you get rain, you get snow, things get dumped on. Things it's interesting that they're still saying that there might be something there. There was a motive for committing the crime. There's the money.
Well.
And now this is the kicker. Oh, there's Allyson. So this is the kicker. Your girls are going to love this. I asked for another card in regards to the case.
Strange phenomena involved. Wow.
Yeah, the ghost tried to tell her.
The white lady. There's the white lady right there.
Yeah.
And then the other card I have is a witness may not be fully disclosing all the facts. But when that card came out, I was like, so yeah.
And Daniel's got a whole slew of kids, by the way.
Oh,
does he?
Okay.
Yeah, he's got 4. And or 3 or 4. But that would be another reason he'd need even more money. When you're that loaded, you got kids, and they're, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And he didn't have any
all
with
from
her.
the different wives, I'd assume.
Yeah. And he didn't have any with her, so.
Yeah, I looked at it super quick. Yeah, but I'm just saying, but you got adult children, which they probably were by that time, because dude was like 70 when he married her, or 60 or whatever the hell. They got married in 91. He was born in 40 something. So he was close to 50. So he had adult children at that point.
Jesus.
But you know what I mean? That's a whole different life than what we live. When you're like uber rich and you got kids that were raised under that, you're financially funding a lot of stuff. So yeah, and I think greed takes on a whole, and I'm not saying for everybody, for entertainment purposes only. I just don't know how grounded and everything else you are when you're living that kind of a lifestyle.
Yeah.
So lucky for Ian, he wasn't extradited.
Yeah. I know.
because
Yeah.
what people may not know in chat is that even though the guard of the police in Ireland wouldn't, arrest him permanently and go to court because of not having enough evidence, the French government held a trial for him in absentia, and a
Yeah.
couple of the French judges found Ian guilty, and they wanted him extradited.
You don't want to go to prison in
France
France.
immediately, and they told the Irish government, we have a warrant for him, and the Irish government said no. We feel here that we don't have enough. I mean, it was, yeah, that because the minute he would have stepped off, even in England, boom, they would have been there to arrest him.
They said if he left Ireland at all, he would have been arrested wherever he was and taken to France.
He was, kept in. He had to stay in Ireland all those years until he died, or else he would have been, possibly convicted. I mean, of course, everybody again is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. But this is, this is the way the story went. Did you have any more questions, Jackie, or do we want to see what people?
Do you want me to throw out the last few? We go to the chat. We'll go to the chat. The last few were kind of ones we've discussed anyway.
Okay. So earlier on, Isadora had asked, and I think we already covered this, if there was any DNA from the crime scene. There was pretty much hers. There was, I think, maybe a sample, but nobody knew who it was. But by then, all the DNA and any evidence was destroyed because everything was exposed for over almost 24 hours. So that was that. So if anybody had anything they were pulling along the way, Isadora or Flo. Flo, and I know you said you're not feeling well, sweetie. But if Karen, I don't know if you were throwing anything. Yeah, we'll open the floor unless Allyson or Jackie, you think of a question that we haven't asked that you might want to throw on.
I just will it be solved soon?
That's what I was just gonna say. Are they ever gonna solve this?
Jigs.
Yeah.
Okay. Will Sophie's murder?
Because I think if they have a fella in Paris that they know was identified by that mad one Marie, then surely they can look into him and figure it out. Like,
well, if that was because of that woman who kept lying, I don't think anyone's going to want to take her seriously, or they'll want to use that.
Yeah, but you see, the fact is they actually found someone who matched the description she eventually gave. Yeah, and they found that he was a real person and an associate of the husband. Do you know what I mean? So what's really caused the scratches on Bailey's hands, he said.
Yeah, and that's impossible. An associate of the husband? There was somebody seen in Ireland. I mean, that's got to be who it was. It would have to be.
Yeah.
So, okay, we got some coming in. So just really quick, will it ever be solved? I got the Three of Swords, heartbreak. I got Prudence, though. I got the Eight of Pentacles in this deck. They're working on it. And, well, so people may not feel like it's not going to be solved. But the last card I got was the Wealth card. Maybe they're going to follow the money. Maybe there's a money trail. Or somebody is going to come forward and put enough money into a private investigator or something to look into this. Because a lot of people felt like, well, it was solved, and the guy got away with it. So,
oh man, I think it will. What do you got?
I have the Star and the Nine of Wands. That like there's hope there, and they just have to persevere. That it won't be. And I mean, Wands, I would see the Wands as the fastest moving suit. So it's like they have to have hope, but that it, and persevere, but that it will happen soon, because Wands will be quicker than most, So yeah, that's just what I pulled.
Okay, and I'll pull over to Allyson.
Big disappointment, sadness, and regret clarified by the action that'll be taken, right? We're asking if it's ever going to be solved, right? Queen of Coins, clarified by Temperance. Outcome, last card, Seven of Swords, a big deception, death. This is a rebirth. This is seeing this deception differently. The overall energy, Seven of Pentacles. Who invested in this? Clarifier. Husband,
Oh.
Hierophant.
Wow.
Let me clarify the Hierophant.
Okay.
Wow.
Who's this here?
Sorry to hear that, Karen.
Yeah, I'm sorry you're still missing your kitty, sweetheart.
No.
Eight of Cups. This is about someone who emotionally down with her.
Oh, we're losing.
This is the
We're
husband.
losing you. Okay.
One more. Clarify the Hierophant, please.
Yeah, I'm gonna get
The
the other bit.
Chariot. This is all the husband. I say that I mean, it doesn't mean if they actually will, but if they actually take the time to look into this, they will find it.
Yeah.
I think it's probably I don't think that it's we're gonna use spiritual talk here. I think that it's not, it's to be determined. It's gonna be up to somebody to put up. I mean, although
Yeah.
is this considered closed? I know they decided he was guilty, but is it considered closed?
I think it
That's
is.
no.
Or is it a cold case?
No, I don't know.
Well, in Ireland, I think it's still an
Because I mean, they wanted to incarcerate him, but they couldn't get their hands on him. That makes me think that it's closed, but it's a different country, and I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah,
Like,
I
is
don't
it
know.
closed? It's closed. Like here, you have to have some ridiculous amount of whatever for something to be reopened after it's been closed and proven.
About a month ago,
blah, blah, blah.
her son was in Ireland and he was on a chat show here. So I might find that and watch it back and see what he says, because there could have been, that was only about a month ago, like, so he might have had some kind of decent updates,
Right.
you know. I'll have to watch it.
So she died in
Mm.
96, so that was 32 years ago. He's about our age. No, he's not.
28.
He was 16, so he's probably like 40-ish now, 40-ish, right? He was 15 at the time of her death. She died when? In 96.
15 and
that was
28.
32,
96.
37, 47. He's like 47.
Mm.
Poor baby.
Yeah. So I've been highlighting questions and comments. Karen said, what really caused the scratches on Bailey's hands? He said, turkey and cutting Christmas trees.
But
That
see, he
was
did
weird.
do those things. He had his own turkeys and he went out to kill one for Christmas dinner, you know?
He did.
So there's
Yeah.
no reason why that's not a lie, I think, you know?
No.
Or why that is a lie, I should say, sorry.
Mhm. So let me go ahead and remove that one.
Yeah, and who hand kills turkeys? He's a friggin' weirdo.
Well, yeah.
Well,
Well,
he
let's
almost
just
made
go
his
out and
girlfriend go
He killed
blind.
3 turkeys. Why do you kill 3 turkeys for Thanksgiving?
Unless he was full of it, I don't know. Isadora theory: 2 wine glasses could mean that 2 people in the house, and Sophie was chased out of the house, and the person caught up to her at the gate.
But they said there was no other evidence to see of anyone else in the house, do you know?
Yeah, it didn't look like the house had been disturbed and nobody'd been inside. And if he had just killed somebody, there would be dirt and or blood on the floor.
Yeah.
And also, she'd been there 2 evenings. She probably had a glass of wine every night.
Yeah. So there was no evidence of anyone being in the house. Yeah. Yeah.
And she was very clean and tidy and put together. I can't see her having stuff sitting dirty in the sink. So she washed her glass. And plus, how long does it take to wash a wine glass?
Yeah.
That's just mine.
Flowing said, I'm feeling hired hand. He didn't want to give, her the money. The hubby didn't want to split money.
Yeah.
Sure, you know what? I'm going to look it up. He had to have been protected financially. He probably just was greedy and crazy. I think he investigators are, could be.
Yeah, they did. They lost a piece of evidence They lost that.
You know
How do you
what?
lose that big ass
Yes.
metal?
Can we
I
pull
mean-
on one more?
Sure.
What?
I want to know how the fact that she was having an affair impacted him, Daniel.
Okay.
Okay. Sophie.
How did Sophie having an affair impact Daniel?
How did Sophie's affair? It was emotionally, right?
Sorry.
It was emotionally, right? Or just in general, how to affect him?
Oh, in general, let's say.
Well, he didn't like it.
I'm just laughing at my cards because they tell a story, as they say. Will I show you mine there in the meantime? Look.
Here, let me put you up there.
So how did her having an affair affect him? And here we have the Six of Pentacles. He didn't want to share that money again, you know, all to do with the money. Same thing. And death, he didn't want that kind of drastic change in his life. Can't wait to see the story. Do watch it on Netflix, lads. It's very good. It's 3 kind of 1 hour-ish episodes. It's very good. There's a lot of interviews. There's a lot of people speaking to Ian, and he's really interesting to listen to because he's very, when people are talking to him, he's very cool, he's very calm, he's very well spoken, obviously highly educated and all the rest of it. You'd never think by just listening to him talking that he's an absolute fucking whack job. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think these two tell a story. What you reckon, Allyson? Six of Pentacles and death.
She's still pulling. So what I got was the Wheel of Fortune clarified by the Ten of Cups. So there's that whole house, you know,
changed everything.
Yeah.
I also got the Seven of Swords again, and
Yeah,
clarifying that is the Five of Pentacles.
Wow.
he felt
He
betrayed
did
and
not want her
rejected.
to take his money,
Yeah.
and he would have. Next card I got was the Five of Wands. It caused strife,
Conflict.
which caused her to, you know, move away, but he wanted, you know, to move her.
See, to me, sorry.
And just really quick, I got the Ace of Swords, which is clarity, what he had to do. It was clear to him
Decision.
what he had to do.
Yeah.
Clarified by the devil. There's the devil again, which brought everything full circle, and that was, you know, protecting his interest, his world, his environment, his whole, you know. So there you go.
Yeah, her having an affair changed everything. Like, it was okay for him, but not okay for her. The overall energy, 10 of Cups, this is their family. Her, and I'm asking about her having the affair. It changed how he saw it, all of it. Hangman. He had a completely new everything when he found out about that. This is the home, their life, everything. This is a 3-card spread. He had to take action on it when he found out about that. This is about figuring out how to hold on to what was important to him, right? Yeah. Yes, it can be money, but all of it, like figuring out how to hold on to all of it, to come into balance. Page of Wands, to take action on the ending of everything. These are clarifiers.
Wow. Yeah, the World card again.
That affair, I think that it's possible. I don't know. We're not going to read on all this. My guess from all that would be that he'd had affairs. She either knew about him or didn't. I'm sure she did. But when he found out about hers, because I doubt she told him, but he found out either she told him or he found out somehow or whatever. And that's when he decided to dip. He's like, well, I'm not. Yeah. But the way he went about it looks like maybe he took her out, maybe. Yeah. For entertainment purposes only, or had somebody take her out for the money. He's got a bunch of grown kids. it depending on how, let's say if for entertainment purposes only, if he's narcissistic, there's not a whole lot of you can justify, if you're built like that, you can justify stuff in your own mind, right? Prenup or not. I mean, if you have a life insurance policy, and depending on how your life insurance policy is written up, but the ego, if you are narcissistic and you have somebody that it's like, that's a deal breaker. You know, what's the whole saying? What's good for the goose is not always good. Good for the gander. Like, oh, I can cheat all day long and have girlfriends half my age. You better not be messing around with anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he didn't die long after, and
yeah,
died of a cardiac arrest in front of his home.
Heart attack in 2003. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ian died of heart problems too.
Yeah. In January.
Not necessarily connected, I'm just saying. Yeah, he died in 2006, right?
2003.
No, 2003.
Yeah. And Karen said that death card was different perspective than normal, Jackie. They look like they were getting trampled by the horse. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And you also had a Flowing. Yes, you also had that new lady friend. And Flowing said, okay, she just found the documentary on Netflix. So.
Ooh, lads, make sure you put in the comments afterwards what you think of the documentary.
And I just looked up at the time. It's 222. Angel numbers. So which is a good sign, because she's with the angels, and and she's, hopefully she's at peace, and it would be nice to be able to really, bring the story to light, what really happened to her.
Do you know what? Her aunt was very much into tarot cards and all sorts of divination kind of things. So imagine if someone found, and they all, like, she was even saying she had a bad feeling herself before she went.
Wow.
So, but it's all in that documentary. So do let us know what you think, lads, if you watch it.
I'm sure her aunt probably pulled cards and probably figured out,
Yeah.
But that might be something like earlier when I got, people that may know something, but, it's the key. And sometimes cards can't be used as a key, and sometimes they can be, depending on how open-minded, certain.
Yeah. True.
But yeah. Wow. Well, ladies, what a case today.
I know, right?
Thanks for having me, you guys. It was so fun.
Thanks for being here,
Allyson. Hope you're enjoying your week off from work, from school.
I am. It's lovely. I want to have every week off from work.
It was a little dreary this morning, but even though it's gotten cool again, at least the sun's starting to come out. So,
Jackie, when do you have spring break?
My children are off school now for this week and next week for it's Easter holidays here, like, so they have 2 weeks off. It's ridiculous.
Oh, nice.
Absolutely ridiculous.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
We just get 1 week.
But anyway.
Yeah.
A long weekend would have been enough.
So,
man, I love it.
Anyway.
I'll take the whole week.
Oh, and Serena, I didn't know you were here, sweetheart. I'm so sorry I didn't catch you earlier. But thank you for hanging out and watching. We appreciate everybody. So, Jackie, you got anything else coming up this week before we go?
No, nothing planned yet.
Okay. And I know Friday, Allyson and I are doing our show, but Allyson, you got any other videos planned for this week? You have Sagittarius, you got Leo readings, you done, and then you did one for the full moon on all the signs.
Yeah, I did Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, and I did like a full moon in Libra readings for all the signs. I posted that yesterday. I'll probably possibly do the water signs this week. Those are my favorites, the fire and water signs. So I'll probably do the water signs next, but that's it.
All righty. Well, we will see you on our next live. Allyson and I will hopefully see you all on Friday, and everybody have a good rest of your week. Thank you again for supporting us. We'll talk to you later.
Guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.